other major news of the day was at North Melbourne, who put its best foot forward during the week, and that was matched by Brad Scott today. They've extended the contract for 2 additional years through to the end of 2020. Brad, congratulations and welcome.
Thanks, Jared.
So primarily why? Why did you decide to commit for the long term again?
Well, I think it was, the main reason was that I spoke to the club earlier in the year about the significant transition that had happened in our team and our list, and we needed to look at what the future looked like and the strategy and be really clear on that. And I asked the club at the start of the year that at the end of the year we would need to sit down and work out whether they felt I was still the best person to lead the team, and gave them the commitment that if they came to the conclusion that that was me, then I was in too. And they quickly came back to me at the end of the season and made an offer, and I accepted it.
Was it fair, do you think, that people were questioning your integrity as a person? Did you feel that they were?
No, I never felt that anyone was questioning my integrity. I understand the speculation around potential moves, and it's just the industry we're in. Everyone likes to talk about player movement and coach movement, but internally we were very clear on the process we wanted to go through, and we needed to sit down and analyse it. Was I still the best fit for the club, and was the club still the best fit for me? And once we did that, we came to a very clear conclusion.
Righto, you had 12 months to run on your contract. What if North Melbourne didn't come to you and offer you a 2-year extension? Would you have considered leaving the football club?
Well, it would have been a discussion around the potential destabilisation of the football club going into the last year of my contract. And we've had significant turnover of our list, and I think that without stability it makes it very hard to do the job that you need to do. So I think we've had enough time to get to know each other, and the club knows me very well, and I know the club very well. So I felt we had enough information to make that decision going forward.
Did you look at the Nathan Buckley situation this year, and you would have read the media? And
yeah.
I know you would have. Did you think to yourself, we just don't need that at North Melbourne next year?
Oh, I think it's... Look, every club's got to make their own decision around the process they want to go through, but yeah, particularly when you've had 25% turnover of your list last year and more this year, then you need stability. And all the information I felt that was needed was there on hand. So the club did as I requested them to do, and they came back to me very quickly.
We've always held the view that you put North Melbourne's interests first. Did at any stage during any of this, did you think, what do you want? What do I actually want in this, rather than what's best for North Melbourne?
Well, I think leading the football club is a huge responsibility, and I've asked players in the past to always think about club first. And if you're going to say that and you're going to preach that, you better make sure you live up to it yourself. And I sought the leadership group's opinion as to whether they would like me to go forward long term. And I've coached a lot of them for the majority of their careers, so their opinion was really important. And
when did they say that? Sorry to cut you off. When did you ask them?
Oh, throughout the process, particularly when the speculation started, I sat down with them and spoke to them about it and reaffirmed my commitment. And again, if you're going to make that commitment to them, then you better follow through on it.
Was it unanimous? Like, did everyone say yes, Brad, or did someone look in the eye and say, actually, I don't know if I want you as coach?
No, they didn't, and you can understand probably why they didn't. But the guys who are, like Jack Zeeble, for example, very secure in his position in the team, and captain of the footy club, they weren't just convincing. They were extremely buoyant in the future of the club and the direction that we're going. So that was really reassuring for me.
Have you got your mobile phone on right now?
It's on silent, I hope.
Well, you're going to turn it on after you get off, because I suspect that if a decision is made on Dustin Martin in the next 24 hours, you're going to be one of the first people to know either positively or negatively what the answer's going to be. Do you feel it's down to like a last 24-hour situation right now?
Oh, look, I haven't allowed myself to even give it a thought. You know, clearly the prospect is really enticing, but
it's a huge story.
Oh, it is.
It really is.
But I mean, it sounds boring and cliche, but we've tried to be as respectful as we possibly can of Dustin and Richmond through this process, and I think it's unfair to talk about it, but I suspect I'm going to know when everyone else knows.
You're not going to know first?
I very much doubt it. I think that if there's a decision made and they make an announcement, I'll find out when everyone else does.
Having the security of 2 years after next, what does it do to your planning? What does it do to your list management?
Yeah, I think it just, again, provides that stability. It's very difficult to create an environment to develop players when you're asking for a significant commitment from either players coming in or the incumbents, and they're looking at you thinking, well, are you committed? And that's why I had to address it with the players mid-year. And I've just been absolutely wrapped with the way they've been able to carry the club forward this year in what has been at times trying circumstances.
I don't know if you're going to get emotional here, not crying, but emotional. This club gave you your first opportunity. I heard you speak about that today, and I think there's a real sense of respect for this football club. But really in your heart, what does this football club mean to you?
It means an enormous amount. I think that when people talk about North Melbourne, they talk about it with reverence, and they talk about the unique culture that exists, and it's something that you can't really experience until you're a North Melbourne person. And I've been fortunate to be involved in quite a few football clubs over my AFL journey, and the uniqueness about North Melbourne is something that I love, and it's something that we pride ourselves on. And the fact that North Melbourne invested in me as an untried 33-year-old is not lost on me. I've made a significant emotional and social investment in that football club, and they've made that in me too. So I'm wrapped to continue on and hopefully lead the club back to success.
Right, you're 41. I should know. I've asked Chris before.
Yeah, we're the same age. Yeah.
What do you have to do? What do you have to do to be a better coach, you think, over this next three-year period? You're challenged for a premiership, and now you're rebuilding from the bottom up, I suppose.
Well, I've learned a lot of lessons over the last few years in particular, and we're in a situation not too dissimilar to 2010. Yep. And 2010 we were rebuilding a team through the draft, and we were doing it through a compromise draft, as a lot of other teams were as well. So I've learned what really worked through that period, and some things that we really want to improve on. And collaboration's a big part of that, collaborating with the recruiters and the list managers, and making sure that we've got a program that every player that comes into our club is going to have the chance to be the best he can be.
Brad, well done, and good luck for the next 3 years.
Congratulations.
Cheers.
Brad Scott with us after re-signing with North Melbourne today.